people out there are upset with the government. They're upset about bailouts, TARP, stimulus, spending, big government. Who knows, right? We saw it yesterday. Well, our next guest says there is something more you can do about it. And your actions do make a difference on Capitol Hill. Joining us now, Karen Turner, CEO of Turner Government and Public Affairs. Karen, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Yesterday, something interesting happened. Tens of thousands of people around America gathered in hundreds of cities just to say that they were mad, right? At a variety of different things, but they were angry. But what can they do now? They met, now it's over, so what's next?
Well, I think arguably it is not over, and that this was just the beginning of a broader resentment and anger that is filtering through the country.
Well, I was told by some media outlets it was just a fringe movement of a couple hundred loonies. Is that true? No.
I don't believe that that's true, and I think that this has started actually in the Bush administration. When we started the Bush administration with $5 trillion of deficit, we ended the Bush administration with $10 trillion in deficit spending. We're up to 11, moving north toward 13
and more 14. And more of our tax money goes toward paying interest on the national debt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With our indebtedness to China as well. At the same time, we're seeing so many people who are losing their jobs on a daily basis, losing their homes, losing their jobs. And as that increases, this type of social unrest is going to increase as well. The stimulus plan is a fabulous plan to some, a horrible plan to others, but the bottom line is we're going to have more of these social unrest, tea parties, and other types of demonstration until the stimulus trickles down.
Now, the one thing the president's very big on is transparency, and I'm going to give the administration a lot of credit. There's all these new websites, you know, and both on a state level, too. You know, you can look in Ohio and see where a lot of the money is, which is good and bad.
Yes.
It's good because you want transparency. It's bad because guys like me like to dig through it, and then you find stuff and you put it out there, and people get upset about it. Why are you spending so much on the same school bus garage in like 14 counties in Ohio, which is what's happening, by the way. But what can people in Ohio or elsewhere do about that kind of stuff?
Okay, one thing is you can, if you are in a small business or large business, you can try to tap into some of these stimulus funds themselves. Go to your government, call your congressman, call your senators, and find out whether your business is or is not eligible for some of the stimulus money. Second, if you don't like the stimulus money, if you're not eligible, you can call your congressman or your senator and tell them why and where. This does have an impact, as we saw with the AIG hearings. People were outraged about AIG getting so much money in bonuses. Members were called, contacted, screaming, hollering, and they do take this into account.
Yeah, but you got to keep track of, and we try, but there's a lot of members of Congress, you know, so, you know, what they say and then how they vote can be two different things often. Because there's an earmark in some bill. They may hate the bill, but they love that little earmark and they need it for their constituents.
I think, you know, we're doing a lot of government relations work, and this year we're seeing a remarkable difference from previous years, because every single earmark request is posted on the members' website in the House of Representatives. Everything is transparent. So if a member is not lining up his actions and his words, that's become transparent now as well. So I think the transparency is good.
Is there a level that can be too much transparency? You know, again, a lot of these websites, I'm not picking on states, but again, like Ohio, you know, they said, what should we do with the stimulus money? Send us your ideas. They had like 17,000, the last time I checked, people writing in about ideas. Now, it's one thing, citizen participation in democracy, good thing.
Right.
But it's another thing when basically decisions, important decisions, are sort of being made by crowdsourcing or group thinking. Right? That's why we elect, theoretically, leaders, right? To make the hard decisions.
Right.
Is that a fair statement?
That is a fair statement. I think it's a good statement. On the other hand, not all 17,000 proposals will be funded. So it's...
Well, a couple weeks later, there was a note, please do not send in something like for personal requests for stimulus money. Like they had to put that on the website because you know everyone's like, yeah, give me some money. That's my solution.
Give me my money. I love it. That's...
Is there too much participation? I mean, at what point do we call on the leaders, you know what, make a decision. Even if it's politically unpopular, make the hard decisions.
I think the decisions are being made. If you go, for example, to the Department of Energy website, you will see which projects are being funded and which decisions are being. There's also a 30, 60, 90-day use it or lose it. So if the money's not being spent within 90 days by the federal government, they're going to lose that money.
Which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The guy in Ohio said the same thing to me on the phone with regards to one of these schools. He said, well, we have to get it built in 6 months or we lose the money. I'm like, do you need it? He was like,
Right.
Like, then don't spend it. Give it back. But you know, how many governments are going to give back money?
Well,
we don't need it. Thank you. Here's it back. No, they're going to spend it.
Well, you have the governor of South Carolina who's not accepting the money, so that's
a whole different story.
That's exactly. It's a whole different story. But hopefully, the government's going to fund the projects that are needed and get people back to work.
All right.
Right now, it's not trickling down too quickly.
No, Karen Turner, CEO of Turner Government and Public Affairs. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you again. All right. Again, you heard it a lot yesterday, right? The 95% tax cut, or tax cut for 95% of Americans.